you lose SEC series. We kind of forgot what that feels like. That's a good thing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into TexAgs Rewind here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got a studio full of people you've probably never seen on the program, and I'm going to allow all of them to introduce themselves here on the program. And we're going to start to my left. Carson, you tell people who you are.
Carson Stein from Marlin, Texas. Graduated just this last semester from Stephenville, Tarleton State. Plan on transferring here for my master's next semester.
All right. Mac?
I'm Kai McDonald, class of 2025. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm also on the women's soccer team.
Yeah, she is. Blake?
Blake Williams, Denton, Texas, Texas A&M.
Gig 'em. All right, that felt like Monday Night Football, like when people were saying. So this is our new crop of interns, some of them. They're going to be helping out the show. I know that Mac is not prepared for a rewind, so I'm going to ask her, what was your favorite part of the show today?
I think just going over Texas A&M athletics today and talking about baseball and getting to intern or shadow Matt today and just listen to how he was just a drunk elephant.
Good reason. Carson?
Probably Schloss.
Schloss, he was good, right?
He's always good to listen to.
Like
Schloss.
Schloss.
I love listening to Schloss.
Matthew,
awesome.
Tell the people what you're going to say. What was your favorite part? Watch this. It's the same thing every week.
I'll say Billy Liucci so people know that Billy Liucci came on the show today. But the first thing he said to me when he walked in, and I had Mac shadowing me today, so I'm like, I thought he was going to be ready to give me a compliment, make me look good in front of Mac. But basically, I'll sum up what he said. Hey, I love when you do that thing when you mess up on air.
Yeah, he did say that. I thought you were going to say lost in the Schloss like you normally do. That's fine.
Well, they already talked about it, but we were all lost in the Schloss today.
All right. We had OB on the show, too. He was okay. We had Jim Schlossnagle on the show. He was fantastic. We had Ryan Brauninger on the show. He was okay. We had Billy Liucci on the show. He was okay. It's the rewind. Check it. What do you think America thinks for A&M ceiling?
Probably
Ceiling.
8. Probably 8.
You think that's their ceiling that America thinks?
Probably.
God, America's stupid.
Well,
I mean, realistic, I understand, but ceiling.
okay, maybe 9 ceiling.
Well,
I don't think America looks at A&M and thinks that they're going to win 10 games. So they might probably say ceiling. And America is looking at them and saying, look at all the guys that left, Walter Nolan and Evan Stewart and so and so and so and so, without understanding that Walter, though, while being a great talent, played when he wanted to play, and Evan Stewart, while being a great talent, really only showed up in 2 games last year, the first 2. That what we talking about, Jalen Henderson had more catches than Evan Stewart last year.
Ja'Day Walker.
See, I get those two. Why do I guess because one of them's throwing,
It's all
one's
that rap
catching.
beef you're paying attention
It
to.
must be. But
Well,
so that's why they look at it, and they look at A&M as being an underachieving
Well, you're a
team.
smart man, okay? That's all I'm going to tell you. You're a smart man. America, I don't think Saturday Down South represents America.
Okay.
All right, but they're a voice in the SEC.
Yes, they are.
They say A&M ceiling 8-4.
8-4.
Ceiling.
That's the best they can do.
They're ceiling. And I'll read you a couple things that it says here. The Aggies have 2 things working in their favor. One of it's all their big games are at home. Notre Dame, Mizzou, LSU, and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But it does say, and it goes on to talk about Nick Scorton and Connor Wegman staying healthy and how good they are. There may be some questions on the offensive line, but Okla's defense
We
should
know
be
that.
great, yada, yada, yada. So this is how it ends. So why isn't the ceiling higher than the proverbial 8-4? Well, A&M has lost 10 consecutive true road games entering 2024. Until that fades, the 12-team playoff seems like upside isn't realistic.
You know what? You made your bed. You got to lie in that. You got to take that criticism and go out and prove it wrong. It's the whole show me thing that we've been talking about.
See, this is where I differ with this.
But I want people to say. I want everybody to feel that way.
High strikeout numbers this weekend. What frustrated you the most about that? Because it's not just the strikeouts, right?
Yeah.
It's how they happen.
Correct. It's how each individual at bat happens. So when you go back, when the guy strikes out, everybody looks at the last pitch, no question. But where it's the pitches in the at bat. So, golly, you missed 2 fastballs. Are you in between thinking? Are you thinking about the fastball and the breaking ball? Because if you're thinking about both, if you're trying to guess what Nate Yeske's going to call over there in that dugout, good luck. I mean, he's really good at calling a game, and so is Max. But it's the way in which they happen. I was more disappointed at. I think we have some hitters on our team that get frustrated, and the first thing they do is start to swing, and that's the number one. You swing at strikes, take balls, but get your pitch. And as soon as you start hacking at balls that aren't strikes or isn't your pitch early in the count, then it's going to lead to strikeouts, you know. And I'm not I don't like strikeouts either. But we do lead the SEC. I only look at SEC stats because that's against the good teams. I think we lead the SEC in runs scored. We're close to leading the league in strikeouts. We're leading the league, or we're behind South Carolina by 1 in walks. You and I texted about this yesterday. The team that is leading, has the fewest amount of strikeouts in our conference, also has the fewest amount of walks, and one of the lowest on base percentages. And they're middle of the pack in runs scored, low home run totals. So the goal of an offense is to score runs. Do I like the strikeouts? Of course not. The players don't like them either. But it's also to get on base. And in order to get on base, you know, you have to get deep in counts. And when you get deep in counts, you could strike out. Mm-hmm. You could also walk. But anybody who's ever hit, Greg Maddux will tell you, if you ever hear Greg Maddux talk, the more pitches you see, the more information you get. Our first team was so awesome at seeing, like Dylan Rock would see the shape of a pitch. He may chase it early in the count, but then he would see that same shape and he wouldn't swing at it. But then he would see the shape that allowed it to be in the strike zone, and he would hammer it. And right now we're pressing. I mean, this weekend we pressed a little bit.
Very uncharacteristic weekend.
That's the perfect word, and that's going to be the gist of my article this week, is that was an uncharacteristic outlier for this team in a lot of ways. And you think about, they're dealing with adversity too, because it is the first time all year, and he was right. Like, they've gone on the road to a real environment. They didn't have to go to Mississippi State. Right. Alabama, it's not a great baseball environment to begin with, but then they played that doubleheader during the day on Friday that really cut the crowd down. Florida was early in the year. That place is, I mean, they've got good fans, but it's not rowdy. You know, like LSU is one of the elite ballparks in the league. You're talking about LSU, Olsen Field at Bluebell Park. I'd put Mississippi State in there. I'd put Arkansas in there, right? Those are like the real atmospheres. Maybe Tennessee now. You know, Vandy's not a real atmosphere. Georgia's not a real atmosphere. But the elites. And that was the first time that you had gone to one of the elite atmospheres on the road. And I don't know if it had any effect on the kids, and maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But what I saw with my eyes was like, this is so uncharacteristic. Okay. And then you also deal with the Teddy injury, right? So you look at, the team came in the series fielding 980. It's one of the top defensive teams in the country. And they played poor on defense.
Yes, they did.
Very uncharacteristic. Evan Oschenbeck comes in the game on Saturday, spikes a ball to the backstop, then spikes another ball to the backstop to allow a run to score. How many times have you ever seen that? By the way, on the other end, how many times has Jackson Appel ever let the ball go to the backstop?
Doesn't happen.
So, it's just a conglomeration of stuff that is uncharacteristic. Now, if you want to be critical of that and say, well, the strikeouts are not uncharacteristic, that's something that this team has done. And I'll say, yes, this team strikes out a lot, but we also know what they do. And what is offensive baseball about?
Going deep in counts and getting your pitch.
Producing what?
Runs.
Okay? Let's go through some numbers for these people that are just up in arms about the strikeouts this weekend. There's a lot of them on our message board. Okay? The 2023 team, last year's team, of the 3 years that Jim Schlossnagle has been here, been the worst team, correct?
Yep.
That team will likely be the team that has struck out the least in the first 3 seasons under Jim Schlossnagle. They struck out 545 times in 65 games. That's just over 8.3 times per game. Okay?
It didn't go that way. The game I would have seen them winning actually would have been that Friday night one with Prager having the performance he did. I was okay, yeah, they'll win a close one in that one because LSU does have a couple of really hosses at the start of that rotation, 1 and 2, and it's there. You heard Slosh say it today. That's by far the toughest environment they've played in. They went to Austin, which would have been tough, but they jumped out to an early lead. It was close until the middle innings, and then A&M started to pull away. So they hadn't been in that type of environment yet, and they needed to. It's good, and it's great, actually. They may not have to the rest of the way. You know, Arkansas's here at home. No, they'll get a little bit of it at Ole Miss next weekend, too, though, because that's another desperate team.
Yeah.
But outside of that, they may not have to. But they were tested, and they blinked. Okay, LSU was the better team Friday and Saturday. barely. And you could look at a million different things that the Aggies could have done differently, that they could have won the close game instead of lost it. That's what happens in a 6-4 game always. I think that, it was really important. I think you go back and look at that Sunday game, and it was so important for them to not only the fact that they won, but to just knock LSU around the park and essentially run rule them. And you got, Gavin got it going with a couple big hits in that inning. Jace, after a long day, hits the home run to end it. 14-3, you go home, and I think that bus ride, God, imagine riding that bus ride home after a sweep. And not only did you win Sunday, but you played like you're more used to playing. So that was, I think, massive going into this week. You're going to lose SEC road series from time to time. You're going to lose series in the SEC from time to time. Even the number one team, you talked about it earlier, LSU, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Go look at them. You lose SEC series. We kind of forgot what that feels like. That's a good thing.
All right, let's close it out. 3, 2, and 1. All right, Mac, tell the people what to do.
What do we do?
You don't know what to tell the people?
No.
What do people do when they watch our YouTube video? What is it? Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. And they do those things. What do they tell people to do?
They say comment, subscribe, come back in, check in, and then they'll say your outro.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. And like it, right? She did pretty good, right? Yeah, what do you think? Yeah? Yeah. Are you guys nervous? Just be real quiet.
Just
a little bit.
I'm comfortable.
How many wins are Aggie football going to have?
Football?
Be honest.
9.
Okay, I like your answer. Mac?
8.
I don't like your answer as much, but it's okay.
10.
Carson?
10
Okay, I hope. All right, Matthew, you want to tell the people?
Have fun.
No, how many wins, bro?
Oh,
Pay attention.
I was paying attention. I thought you were just like, oh, go do this thing. All right, yeah, 12. How's that?
Okay. God, you guys, super fans. We'll see you next time.